10 miles north of Fort Worth, Texas, we welcome you to the suburb of Keller and Vista Ridge Middle School for the 2021 LSA Invitational, where our second leg of our doubleheader here on a Saturday afternoon features the TCU Horned Frogs at 5-1 and the undefeated Texas A&M Aggies. Welcome up to Vista Ridge Middle School, and what is really the ultimate tournament for the LSA and the Lone Star Alliance inside the MCLA. Kyle Yeomans alongside Heckma Harrison. And Heckma, these are two of the better teams in the LSA, not only in 2021, but they have been for quite some time.
Absolutely, and we got a tough matchup here, and both of these teams obviously know what's at stake in the nightcap. They both want to qualify for tomorrow's championship match, and so when we've talked to both of these coaches, they said how important this game was. Nothing short of a must-win situation for both of them.
Absolutely is. LSU is one of the teams that has already made their way through. They took down Texas Tech 10-2 in a unique fashion, let's say, in the first leg of our doubleheader here on Game On Sports. But let's start with Texas A&M, led by Tony Casero in his 13th season down in College Station. And, well, he's had a freshman stud in the form of William Carterer, who has taken the stage and has been really their scoring output so far in their two games this year.
Yeah, Carterer is the tone setter for A&M. I mean, he's a fast guy. He's going to be breaking some ankles out here on this field, and definitely a name to look for in this match.
And you've seen this TCU squad a number of times already this season. 5-1 is their record. They're more seasoned when it comes to the experience in this crazy 2021 season, but really Trey Mala has been impressive as always in any appearance he's had this year.
You know, all the sports things that you say about guys, but I will say, as far as Trey Mall is concerned, he is the straw that stirs the drink. When their offense is getting set up, number 31 is a big part of their success, and he does a good job of getting those guys set up. So, yes, Trey Mala is the man to watch.
And while we are on the topic of sports cliches, how about a brick wall? And that's what we've got in both nets today. We'll start with Texas A&M. Jason Kroslovitz, number 17, redshirt freshman out of the Woodlands, won a championship, took the Woodlands to their first ever state championship in high school. He is just absolutely a fun goalkeeper to watch.
Kroslovitz is as advertised. I mean, he is a guy that will stand on his head, and he will not let anything get past him.
No doubt about it. On the other side for TCU, Brody Cummins has been very impressive, a 74% save percentage, and he's done that on over 15 shots per game.
Yeah, Brody Cummins has been solid. And last weekend in Shreveport, he had a tough out versus the Tigers of LSU. And I know he wants to get that taste out of his mouth. And it's going to start here today in Fort Worth, Texas.
TCU led by head coach Mark Purcell in his 10th season. And they're coming off of a rebound win. 20-1 was that score against DBU. But it was LSU was the one that handed him a loss prior to that DBU game on Tuesday. What do you have to see from the Horned Frogs to kind of turn around their luck from that LSU Tiger loss?
Man, they are a pace team, and they play multiple paces, and they can go fast break with you. They can slow it down and get into their zone sets. But look, they know that this is a game that they are going to have to play tough in the entire game. So I just look for them just to continue what they've been doing this whole time. They're 5-1 or 6-1, but when we talked to Coach Purcell, his number one thing was not having any letdowns in this game.
Can't have any letdowns, and you can hear the passion between the two sides. I think both of these teams really want to find their way to the LSA Invitational Championship, and we're so glad you're with us here on Game On Sports here over the next couple of hours from Keller, Texas, and what is a fantastic matchup. In my opinion, for my money, maybe the best matchup of the season so far inside Lone Star Alliance lacrosse action. But if you're an MCLA fan and you like the MCLA game, this is going to be your bread and butter.
Oh, this is the one. This is the one. And they match up so well. And when you talked about both of these goalies and their attackmen, I mean, there is not a position that you can look at and say there's going to be a matchup problem here.
Kroslovitz in goal for Texas A&M. The TCU Horned Frogs with Brody Cummins in between the pipes. Should be a fun one here from just north of downtown Fort Worth. He's Heckma Harrison. I'm Kyle Yeomans here for Game On Sports. We will send Joe Portella to the face-off X For Texas A&M on the opponent's side, it's Michael Fogarty who will hit the X so far for TCU. Excuse me, that is Billy Niles. It is not Billy Niles. It is Justin Cozy, the midi that will be at the face-off X for TCU. Going to take some time to get used to the gray and white jerseys.
They didn't make it easy for you today with the gray jerseys.
No doubt about it. It's a sharp look, though. Just not necessarily for the announcers on hand. As we are underway, our second semifinal of the LSA Invitational. So glad you're with us. And now straight off of the jump, out of the face-off win. This one goes deep into the defensive zone for Texas A&M. It's swept around, kept on the turf, and it works its way to the crease where Kroslowitz can handle.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of a scrum down there, but definitely made its way, and Kroslowitz was able to get it and get the offense started for A&M.
Cotterer trying to find Sam Smith in transition. That one went wide off of the stick. TCU able to pick it up in their end as Grayson Weithman snags it, and it's an easy clearance for the Horned Frogs. Things set up with Hayden Lundy to the near side.
Yeah, Lundy's going to do a really good job of helping these guys set up their offense. And there's the guy that we talked about pre-game, and it's Trey Mala. And, again, he's going to be someone that's going to be like a point guard for these guys, working behind the X, but also working that alley as well.
A very active and quick 6'1" junior out of Gold River, California. TCU very patient when it comes to the attack, but when they attack and they dodge, they dodge hard. And there's Mala working to the right side of the formation. They give it back around to Turner, who then shifts it near side. Goal line extended. That one's blocked away by Kroslowitz, and it trickles out to the near sideline, and it is going to be picked up by Andrew Bonnet, the former Highland Park Scotty.
Yeah, Will Gambrell was working right there at the crease, and another, just a great save.
Kroslowitz had 17 saves and 9 goals allowed in his only game. That was a couple weeks ago against Texas. Texas A&M defeated both LSU and Texas by a single goal. Took down LSU 9-8 and Texas by a score of 10-9. It's a very good Texas A&M team. Here's a drive from Smith. Knocked away, picked up by his teammate, but the TCU defense is berating. Eli Engelhardt picked up the loose ball straight off the turf, and now the Aggies with an advantage here. And there is some words shared between the two sides. We were warned that was going to happen.
Well, that's, hey, man. To say they're playing for something, and it based off of what the coaches are mouthing to each other already.
Yeah, Coach Tony Casero, who arrived in College Station to become a part of the restaurant business, then worked his way to be the head coach of Texas A&M, and then Mark Purcell, who pretty much founded the TCU program in Fort Worth and has built it to new heights and continues to do so. As that one's poked away, fantastic play defensively from Reed Cameron to put that ball on the turf, but there's a flag after the play.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job, and I thought this number 8, Josh Fox, just not allowing him to come back topside, defending that crease well and using that whole area to defend.
Fox out of Tustin, California, Foothill High School, redshirt sophomore with a nice play defensively, but it'll be a man up for TCU following the penalty. And like you said, Josh Fox, who does have a goal this season as a midi, is sent to the penalty box for a couple of minutes. See if TCU can get on the board first. 12 minutes left here in this first quarter.
One thing about A&M, they're doing a great job communicating, just not allowing any slashers. They're keeping those passing lanes closed down, collapsing that defense back behind the box, just not giving them anything easy.
Mala back around to Fogarty. Back to the goal line, extended. Fogarty guarded closely by Bonnet. Bonnet with the long stick, very quick, very agile. And it looked like a little bit of a lane there for Andrew Miller. Now in the middle, that one bounces up and over. Griffin Turner was the one with the shot. TCU will keep possession. 34 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, you talked about the patience that they had just setting that shot up.
Have plenty of time still to get that right shot. How about this one from the far side, and that one wide again. Horned Frogs peppering shots on this Texas A&M defense. That's exactly what Coach Purcell wants to do. That one knocked away by the Yankee defense. Now it's up to the ground ball. It is taken away by Bonnet. Tries to get it to a teammate, but instead it was picked up by Turner, but Turner berated on the other side by Cordova, who has it this way. The shot on goal knocked away by Brody Cummins.
Yeah, good job by Cordova, and he attempts a second shot, but again, Brody Cummins gets down on his knees and digs that one out for a save.
Nice job, like you said, by Cordova, the freshman out of Houston, to pick up the rebound and have another opportunity at goal. He just couldn't put it on net. Aggies with possession. Most of the possession has been in their defensive end. TCU has really controlled that game so far. How about this shot on the run? And the dive from Andrew Beasley is knocked away from Cummins again, his second save this trip down the field.
Yeah, that's a good shot by Beasley. Able to see through the trees and get that shot off. But again, another good save by Cummins.
Goal line extended. Here's Josh Fox fresh out of the penalty box. Works it back to the X. Lurking on the near side is Rajagopal. They give it to him right in the middle, and it's knocked away. Great play from the short stick of Mala to jar that one free right in front of the crease, as it looked like Rajagopal was going to have a shot at goal.
Yeah, defensively, TCU is just coming out solid, just communicating with one another. And again, the ability to get that ground ball and create that turnover is a great job by TCU.
Past midfield, TCU with numbers. Wind up, the shot blocked away by Kroslowitz. Bonnet trying to pick up the ground ball. He does just that. And now the Aggies on the run the other direction, looking for a quick clearance.
God almighty, Kroslowitz, man. That is just the second time that we've seen where he's kind of out of position, but he's still able to get his body in a position to stop that goal. That's just amazing job.
Stepped pretty much right into the starting job at the Woodlands High School, a powerhouse in the high school game of the THSLL down near Houston as a freshman. Stepped in, was the starter immediately, and because of the foundation that he built, led the Highlanders to their first ever state championship at the Division I level of the THSLL. Now playing for Texas A&M up the road in College Station as this shot from Josh Fox goes off into the right.
Yeah, that ball's actually gone to the highway, so that's the velocity he had on that shot.
Not only through fence one, but out of fence two as well. Like you said, yeah, that one's in the trees across the way. Here's Fox again, working closely on Bacino.
Oh,
that one's up and over, and it's netted by Cummins.
Oh, my God, that is a great save. Brody Cummins, I mean, that's a point-blank shot that he saved.
Makes it look easy, too. Both of these goalkeepers are very skilled. Could be a low-scoring game just because of the skill you have in between the pipes. Last meeting between these two squads, February 15th of 2020. That one was in Fort Worth, Texas, just down the road from where we are at this moment. Texas A&M took that meeting 9-5 was the final score. Texas A&M trying to keep that success and a 3-0 season alive. TCU, on the other hand, after their one loss to LSU, still believe that if they win both games this week, they'll get the invite to the qualifier of the MCLA tournament down in down in Round Rock.
Yep, as they should. Oh, that great rear check. Great rear check by Andrew Bonnet to create that turnover for the Aggies.
We talked about the high school success of Kroslowitz in goal. Bonnet had a lot of that success with the Highland Park Scots as well. Started with the D2 Scots, who went to a state championship, actually won a state championship while he was on the team.
That's great defense. Number 49.
Yeah, Weithman came forward and made that play. He's able to get it back, and now he has it in his stick. The long stick midi comes past midfield, forces the turnover, and he takes the clearance into his own hands.
I was hoping that Weithman went straight to the cage, but hey, he had to get us. He stopped, and obviously now Trey Mala comes in substitution.
Nice play from the Katy, Texas native. 6:45 left here in the first quarter. Still no score between Texas A&M and TCU, but for long, maybe not.
Mala.
Here's the shot. It's in. Trey Mala, the junior, puts the Horned Frogs on the board first.
Oh, Trey Mala, he knew exactly he was going for that shot, man. He was working from behind the cage. Once he got back topside, and he knew it, and he had his defender basically on his back, and he shot that right between the legs of Jason Croslowitz. That's a great shot by Trey Mala and getting the Horned Frogs on the scoreboard.
9 goals, 6 assists in his 6 games this year. Make it 10 as he hits double digits. The third player on the Horned Frogs to hit double digits this season, along with Griffin Turner and Hayden Lundy. But we mentioned him in the open. Mala was going to be a key contributor as Kazi wins at the face-off X. And there he is being a key contributor in the first goal of the ballgame.
Yep, just getting everything set up. You know that TCU is going to be patient in setting up their offense. You talked about their matchup last year where A&M beat them in Fort Worth at TCU. So a little bit of get back in this game also for the Horned Frogs.
Connor McLaughlin seeing his first action. Has it at the point as Pacino enters in again, wearing the sleeve on the right leg. Looking for some penetration. His teammates wanting him to attack the alley. Instead, he goes to the end line. Great positioning from Texas A&M defensively. That one picked off again by Bonnet, but he loses it in between the hash marks, right in the middle of the slot. It's batted around, but Bonnet somehow gets it back. He is a ground ball specialist, and he showed it again there.
Man, Bonnet's just instinctive, staying in those passing lanes. That's the second one that he's intercepted where they're setting up their offense from behind X.
Aggies looking for an answer. 5:30 and counting in the first quarter. Still plenty of game. Both teams feeling each other out here in the early periods.
Doesn't seem like anything's going to come easy in this matchup.
No doubt about it, with the defenses that each of these teams have and then also the goalkeepers that they employ as well. Coach Purcell very adamant that he thinks he has one of the best defenses not only in the LSA but also in all of MCLA lacrosse. And you see why there. No room for a shot, and it's an easy save for Cummins.
Yep, staying in those lanes and making sure that they collapse into that restraining area as soon as the offense is starting to attack.
Here's a run. Griffin Turner, far hash mark, lanes that one right into the net. A one-timer set things up for his teammate, and it's 2-0 TCU.
Oh, my God, that was so pretty. And Griffin Turner the whole time, he knew he was going to have the defense converge on him. And as soon as two guys get to him, he makes that outlet pass, makes that look easy, and the Horned Frogs have a 2-score lead.
You think those two have done that before, Griffin Turner to Hayden Lundy?
I believe they have.
Time and time again for the TCU Horned Frogs. 1 goal from Mala, 1 from Lundy. Now it's Griffin Turner's turn, as you could say, because he is the third goal scorer on the docket for the Horned Frogs as they lead it 2-0, and they win at the face-off X via the whistle.
Yeah, Parker Brennan goes out as the FOGO for the Horned Frogs.
Brennan, another Highland Park native, was a former teammate of Andrew Bonnet, who we've talked about on the defense of Texas A&M.
I know a little something about that Highland Park squad.
Yes, you do. You are the voice of Highland Park lacrosse. Mr. Heckma Harrison, a man of many hats. He wears many hats.
And those are some big hats, too.
They are big hats. Your words, not mine. This one's dangerously placed right in front of the crease. This is going to be point blank. If TCU gets it, they do, but it's sent up and over Croslowitz. It was another chance for Hayden Lundy, but the sophomore out of Frisco couldn't finish from just outside the crease.
Yeah, Croslowitz, he's keeping he has his eyes on a swivel and making sure that he doesn't get out of position anymore.
Another shot that time on a knee. Croslowitz makes the save.
He's just so special.
He's had trouble so far. Good pickup defensively from Weithman to avoid having the Aggies back into that attacking zone.
Yeah, Weithman just playing a solid job. And that's a great clear by Zach Zappola.
Timeout called by Texas A&M, much to the delight of TCU as the Horned Frogs lead this one 2-0, 3:21 left in the first quarter. And when you look at TCU so far, it's just been crisp. That's really the best way to describe it, because Texas A&M has had their opportunities, but the communication has been there from Coach Purcell's squad on defense. And then when they have possession, they take their time, they're very patient, and then when they see a window, they usually take their opportunity.
And what they've done is basically stole the momentum of this first quarter. And with their aggressive play, their ability to get after those ground balls, that's made the difference in this matchup. A&M, you know that they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to come out and they're going to turn this around. With a game like this, it's going to have as many ebb and flows as it's going to be. It's going to be the team that could withstand this first blow.
If you think to Tony Casero's huddle right here,
yeah,
what is the message? Is it to get some help for Jason Kroslowitz, because he's made 4 saves already, a lot of those coming from point-blank range?
Just take a deep breath, guys. It's like a heavyweight matchup. If you can take that first punch and get through it, I think they've taken that first punch. They've just got to adjust and come out and play their game.
TCU looking much like the team that they were prior to the LSU loss. They got off to a 4-0 start, then fell to LSU 10-9 last week in Shreveport. You talked about your many hats. That was another hat you wore, was calling that game. What is different about this TCU start than what you saw against the Tigers in Shreveport?
Just patience. They came out, like you said, they got the 4-0 lead, and I think they took their foot off the pedal a little bit. They knew that LSU was a winless squad, but I tell you what, they shocked them, and they just don't want to be shocked again here in Fort Worth.
And TCU rebounded with a 20-1 win over DBU, a Division II team, this past week, just 2 days following that 10-9 loss, to try and get a couple reps for this matchup against Texas A&M. This shot blocked away by the Aggie defense, stays in possession as Mala comes forward to pick up the ground ball.
Yeah, Griffin Turner just aggressive in making sure that they get their shots on goal.
Andrew Miller, who has been a part of this TCU squad for quite some time, the senior out of Minnesota. Now far side again for Turner. Still looking for his first goal. Shot clock down to 20.
You see they have those cutters just cutting into the crease at the last minute, but A&M is doing a great job of cutting down those passing lanes.
Tons of movement, but running out of time. 6 seconds left to shoot. On the crease. One last heave, and that one on the backhand from Lundy is saved by Kroslowitz. And so Texas A&M aims to clear. 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Lundy's shot had so much velocity on it, it made a car alarm go off. Here we go again.
Yeah, for those of you who did not watch the LSU and Texas Tech game, we had one go off for almost an entire quarter, as that one is knocked away by Grayson Weifman, who de-sticks the Aggie attacker.
Yeah, I tell you, that's just a great rear check.
Cotterer had the ball going past midfield until Weifman said, no, not just knocking the ball out of the stick, we're knocking the stick out of the hand. TCU with a little added momentum now. You can see that just gave a little extra pep in the step of the Horned Frogs, who, at least in this first quarter so far, don't necessarily need the extra momentum boost.
You see Gambrell working across the defense, getting topside. He wants to make sure that he gets a shot off, and he does right there standing in the alley.
Yeah, he was able to get the shot off. Austin Gideon picks up the ground ball off the rebound. Now Kroslowitz vacates the crease to try and help the clearance, and his cause goes in a positive way for Texas A&M. 60 seconds left here in the first quarter. Aggies trying to cut the lead in half prior to heading into the second period. Been an entertaining back-and-forth matchup so far, but the Aggies just have not found the back of the net, as Cummins has been fantastic and the TCU defense maybe even better. Here's Beasley taking his time, back up top to Englehart, and then back around. Here's Cotterer. Outside the crease from back behind, and that one slammed in by Sam Smith. The Aggies are on the board.
And that's all Cotterer setting that up. The defense collapsed on him immediately once he advanced towards the cage and made it easier for Smith to come from behind the cage and get that pass.
5th goal of the year for Sam Smith, the junior out of Friendswood, Texas. 6 foot, 170 pounds, and that's exactly what he does. Comes straight from back behind the net, is able to work right around the crease, hugging it enough to make the play and get just the angle on Cummins, and that may be the way that you get past this TCU defense, is just start from behind.
Yeah, what Cotterer does is he makes you forget about those other guys that are lurking, and TCU's defense fell asleep.
Back to the face-off X we go. Battle between Portela for Texas A&M, but it is lost. It is a nice play from Kazi. Works that direction for TCU. They get possession again. 15 seconds left. Shot clock is off as Mala takes it near the numbers far side. Back around, picked off by Kroslowitz, and he will hold. And the first quarter comes to a close. Good awareness from Kroslowitz there to end the last possession for TCU. That showed a little bit of promise, but ultimately it was A&M that ended the quarter on a high note, cutting into the lead with their first goal of the game. But that was a first quarter, for the most part, dominated by TCU possession.
Absolutely, and I talked again about the momentum and the ebb and flows of this game. You know that it's going to go back and forth, and who can withstand it the best probably is going to be the victor in this matchup.
Winner of this one taking on LSU as the Tigers took down the Red Raiders in interesting fashion in game one of the afternoon. 10-2 was the final score. Did not make it into the second half, but the Tigers, who had the hot start, were rewarded as the victors, and deservedly so. That's a very good ball club that has defeated this TCU team already, and they may meet TCU or they'll see Texas A&M for the first time this season. Should be a fun championship bout tomorrow. 3 o'clock, you can hear that one right here on Game On Sports. So go ahead and click that subscribe button. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up while you're at it on the screen. You could also follow at Game On Sports Pro on Twitter and Facebook as well. Wanted to throw that out there. You can follow Heckma_Harrison on Twitter if you like.
I'm a good follow, I think.
You're a great follow.
I believe
it. You wear many hats.
I believe I do.
You have the experience with lacrosse now.
I'm telling you, man, this thing is just expanding.
A well-oiled machine sitting to my right, Mr. Heckma Harrison.
You're full of compliments. They should hear what you say when we're not on air.
It's more compliments.
You lie like a rug.
He's Heckma Harrison. I'm Kyle Yeoman. So glad you've been with us here over the first quarter. This is going to be a fun matchup. It already has been a fun matchup, but that'll continue heading into the second. 2-1 our score. 15 minutes back up on the clock as we head back to the face-off X. Semifinal action of the 2021 LSA Invitational. Keller, Texas, and Vista Ridge Middle School. A gorgeous night for lacrosse in the Lone Star State. It was very windy for our first leg of the doubleheader. The wind is still there, but it's died down quite a bit as we are now under the lights, and the temperature will drop. Back to the face-off X we go. This time Jerry Cordova will battle with Fogarty, or excuse me, with Cozy. And TCU takes the early possession. They've been very good at the face-off X so far.
Absolutely, and that's another part of their game that I think is underrated. Their ability to win at the face-off and get those extra possessions and control time of possession. So A&M has definitely got to watch for that.
Will Gambrell around to Mala, then Mala will set things up. Andrew Miller also lurking to that far side. Now goal line extended here for Griffin Turner. He's looking for his first goal. Thought about going with the left hand. Instead, will dodge inside. Great pickup defensively. Two Aggies converging in on the goal scorer and making things tough. How about this one far side? Stood up by Kroslowitz.
I tell you, Griffin Turner, he had a look. I mean, he made a fabulous move. He cocked it. He thought about it, but he came away from it. And there, TCU is going with that open set, just not able to produce any points, but they had plenty of opportunity.
Now A&M looking for their second goal to try and knot things up at 2. Reminder, Texas A&M won the most recent meeting between these two sides back in February of last year. 9-5 was that final score. It was much like what we're looking at right now, back and forth until the fourth quarter when Texas A&M pulled away. How about this one right in the middle of the slot? And the shot from Cordova just a bit off the mark. Aggies are there as Sam Smith is on the inline.
Yeah, that Cordova, he had an open shot, but just a little too much mustard on it.
How about this one saved by Cummins? Easy look, even though it was a blistering shot from Andrew Beasley.
It's an easy clear for the Horned Frogs.
And if you're Coach Gazzaro saying that was too easy, Texas A&M basically just getting back on defense, afraid of the transition power of TCU, at least on that end down the field. Now working from behind the net. Goal line extended and an unforced error as this one goes up and over Stephen Mason, and the freshman out of Nashville couldn't reel it in.
Oh, Stephen Mason, that's one of those things like even in football where you take your eyes off the ball, and that's exactly what he did.
Can Texas A&M take advantage? Cotterer out there as now DeRosa checks in. He's seeing some significant time for the first time. Eli Englehart works his way in. Here's Smith. Back out to Fox.
And look at that defense. They are pressuring these guys out from the perimeter, just not allowing them to get down in that box area.
They do not want anybody within 20 yards. Cotterer now within 15, but he had it jarred away, had to reset. Setting up an easy perimeter for TCU. This defense is fantastic. They're sound, they're fluid. The communication is there. It'll be tough for anybody to penetrate, and then when you do, you got to get it past Cummins. That's what makes this team so good for Coach Purcell and company.
And they're going with a man look. And really surprised that A&M isn't setting any picks for each other.
That one reeled in, fully extended by Cotterer to try and keep it with the Aggies, but now, like piranhas, the TCU defense jumps on the loose ball, but it sticks with the Aggies following the foul. Really the only team that's had success against Texas A&M this year in terms of scoring on this defense is the team that would await them should they win this semifinal, and that's LSU. Put up 10 goals against the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, they're hot right now, man. They are firing. And we saw that first quarter, and they came out and they put it on Tech.
They definitely did. Congratulations to Coach Coppins and company. Shane, a fun person to talk to, has that passion that you love in the game of lacrosse. He is pumped to have his team playing for an LSA Invitational Championship tomorrow at 3 o'clock. These two teams trying to join him. Texas A&M could take a gigantic step in that direction, answering the 2-0 start from TCU with a goal here, whereas TCU could put a couple goals in between them and the Aggies with a stop and a score.
Yeah, they're isolating Josh Fox right now, but that's just an easy save by Brody Cummins where it actually goes behind the net.
And it went just inside the near side post. Jack Waller was the defender tabbed with stopping Fox. And another easy clearance for TCU's. They work it past midfield, now into the attacking zone.
Yeah, but Chino's doing a good job of setting up the offense. Finally gets it out, but he's a guy that you got to watch, man, because he will attack the alley and get a shot off on goal.
A couple goals, no assists in 2 games this year. He is very active with moving it in transition. Fogarty to the numbers near side, then dumps it off back behind toward the end line for Hayden Lundy. Now Lundy stumbles back behind the crease.
Yeah, the crease violation.
Got tripped up. Straight back behind the net. Now Kroslowitz looks for a clearance. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Now cross his own hands. 15 yards out from the goal. All the way back to his defenseman in Austin Gideon.
What a pass.
You did. You, like you said, put it on the number to Cordova. Isaac Mendoza. Back to Beasley.
Yeah, they're making those wholesale substitutions, and when Beasley comes in, he goes right to work.
Beasley attacking the crease. Backhanded shot, and it goes in.
Beasley.
Sneaky.
I tell you, Beasley, as soon as he came in, boy, he went right to work. You saw it. He's setting this offense up, but that was just a backhanded shot that rolls past Brody Cummins to tie this up with 8:56 in the second quarter.
Second goal of the year in his second game, and that one very cheeky from Beasley. You mentioned his aggressiveness, sticking in there and making things happen. And now we're all knotted up at 2.
Like I said, this is a heavyweight matchup, man. They end those blows, and you can tell right now A&M has been able to steal a little of that momentum that the Horned Frogs had in the beginning of this matchup.
Yeah, each team trading a pair of goals here in this first half. It was a 2-0 lead for TCU. They had all the momentum and a chance to make it 3-0. But then Kroslowiec stood on his head and net, made things tough on the TCU attack, and since then the possession arrow has been pointing in favor of Texas A&M. They have taken over since then. An in-state matchup, 2 teams that do not like each other, and a flag coming in from the near sideline. Like I said, maybe not liking each other a whole lot is showing up via the penalties. How about this run near side for Griffin, and that one turns away. Griffin Turner turned away by Kroslowiec. Now the advantage will be play.
Yeah, they let him play through the penalty, but I believe TCU is going to maintain possession.
Yeah, they'll keep the man up as off to the near sideline goes Reem Inkwitz.
That was on 47, Jose Portela.
Yeah, the freshman out of Dallas, Texas, played for ESD, another powerhouse at the high school level.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of lacrosse talent in that area of the state. Now TCU will try and break the tie here with the man advantage.
Yeah, they have to set something up. They know they have the advantage. Be a good idea for them to try and get a shot off before this penalty ends.
There's the shot there, and it whizzes up above the crossbar. Kroslowiec didn't even get a net on it. 7:50 and counting here in the second quarter.
Then we got about 4 seconds.
And yeah, that penalty is now over, and this shot from Miller goes high. So back to even strength. Following the penalty to Portela, putting him in the box. Look at the patience here. This is a chess match. Up over the middle. Shot from distance, no. Instead, Griffin Turner on the drive. Cut off quickly by that Texas A&M defense. Fantastic on that side of the field.
Yeah, he knew that he had Trey Mala in the outlet pass, and that's a good shot by number 31, Mala.
Yeah, Mala came flying in off the right shoulder. Sent it past the far post. TCU keeps it. Plenty of time still left on the shot clock.
I believe that's Fogarty brings it in from the end line. His gray jerseys aren't helping us from this angle.
Not at all. Here's Stephen Mason. Goal line extended. Works back to the X.
That's Lundy. And a backhand. That another save. Boy, Kroslowiec.
He has been fantastic.
Yes, he has.
The backhand worked for Texas A&M the last time down the field. This time for Lundy, it's snuffed out. That was a dangerous play right back into the defense. Preston Smith, luckily there to pick it up, but this has been a tough clearance for Texas A&M, and they run out of time. TCU defensively has been berating. It doesn't matter what side of the field they're on, and now with some numbers the other direction, looking for the attack, and it's blocked away by Kroslowiec. Stays with the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, Kroslowiec is just not allowing any sneaky goals. I mean, he's making sure that he's standing out in front of that cage and making himself twice as big, not giving any area.
He has gotten body on almost every shot so far. That's really his calling card, is just consistency. You can see it. He is as consistent as they come, and still just a redshirt freshman, has 3 years of eligibility left in the program. How about this side from Turner, and that one whizzes just right up over the crossbar.
You know, that just tells me basically they are looking for the perfect goal against this guy because they know that he's covering every angle. So all of their shots are either going wide left, wide right, or they're too tall because they know anything within that net or his catch radius, he's not going to allow anything through.
He has been everything the Aggies have needed so far. Long wind up. Mala doesn't pull the trigger. Instead, he's pushed out wide by Braden Montgomery.
Yeah, that's a good cross-check by Montgomery.
Back around to Fogarty. Now to Griffin Turner. Turner tries to go on the plant inside. Slipped up and has it de-sticked. Fantastic play from Austin Gideon. Can he pick up the loose ball? Yes, he can, and it's Englehart who works it past midfield.
Oh, that was an opportunity at TCU. They come back and look at that on film. They're going to wish that they had gotten an opportunity to shot on goal because they had the numbers and guys in position, but a great defensive play by the Aggies.
Now DeRosa slowing things down for Texas A&M. Under 5 to play before the halftime break. All knotted up at 2. Winner moves on to the LSA Invitational Championship tomorrow against the LSU Tigers. Here goes DeRosa. Far hash mark, attacking on Mala. Goes up and over, tried to get it to Cummins. Instead, the rebound picked up by Rajagopal. And the Aggies keep possession. 35 left on the shot clock. Still plenty of time here. This one put on the turf. Berating defense again. Kyler Waldron was the one.
Yeah, that's good defense by Waldron. There it is.
Look at the physicality coming in. Zach Zerpolo. They'll call a cross-check. That keeps it with Texas A&M. Aggies catch a huge break there. I thought it was clean.
Yes, they do, because I tell you that TCU, those Horned Frog defenders are just not allowing those passing lanes. And anything simple that they can jump, they're taking the opportunity to try and get those jumps.
When it's just a little high, this one goes just a little wide off of the stick from Jared Cordova. A&M with plenty of time now as the shot clock reset following the penalty. Fox, Smith, who has a goal, tried to feed it back inside to Mendoza. Now Smith resets.
Yeah, Traeger Kennard is defending the X, just doing a great job, showing a lot of love with that stick, not allowing anything easy.
DeRosa with the dodge inside, trying to create some separation. Fox behind the net, directing traffic. Try to get someone to cut to the near hash mark. Instead, Fox takes it himself, backing down a defender, trying to go toward Cummins, and he lost it in transition. Picked up by his teammate, and Sam Smith keeps things alive for the Aggies.
The Aggies are also being very patient on offense, making sure they get a quality shot off.
Long possession this time down the field, and some whistles.
Have to reset the shot clock.
So they reset the shot clock at 78, and that's where we will be. That's solid for the Aggies, assuming that the clock was already down back to 20 seconds by the time that last shot clock went off.
Yes, it was.
Gives them an extra minute to work with. This trip down the floor, 2:30 left in the half. Fox back behind to Smith. Cummins in net. Smith attacking the crease again. Dodging to the far hash. Flag flies in. Shot goes wide. And TCU will be a man down.
Yeah, Kyler Waldron, now he's doing a good job. I don't know what the actual call was. He didn't let his stick away from his body, but again, that's another penalty, and they're going, like you said, the Aggies will have the advantage.
Back-to-back whistles this trip down the field for Texas A&M, working in their favor. A little frustration from Coach Purcell and company, and now they'll have to stand strong. Aggies looking for their first lead of the ball game. Fresh 80 on the shot clock, 2:15 left in the quarter.
And it's going to be a minute that they'll have numbers. So look for them to get a shot off here pretty soon.
Fox thought about it. Far side, almost knocked away. Englehart able to pick it up off the turf. That one is knocked away. And a fantastic play from Weithman again on the defensive side. Cummins gets it, and the clearance is there for TCU.
Yeah, great outlet pass.
Now an opportunity for the Horned Frogs as they will slow things down. And that is a missed opportunity for the Aggies, up by a man. Still plenty of time in the penalty, but TCU most likely going to hold on to this possession. Huge stop.
Yes.
From Weithman and that TCU defense.
Yeah, like I said, both of these teams, they're opportunists. They're not allowing any space between those passes. And if they can jump them with that long pole, they're going to stick that head out there and try and get the ball intercepted. And that's just a great job by Weithman to do that, knowing that they were a man down.
And timeout called by TCU. 1:06 left in the first half. Still all knotted up at 2 apiece. And if you're Coach Purcell, you're wanting to take advantage here of this timeout, these final 66 seconds of the half, to try and go into the halftime break with not only momentum but with a lead on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, we talked about the game last week in Shreveport. And in our conversation with Coach Mark Purcell, he talked about how many shots they had on goal with 1:38 left. And the execution, that's what he felt most bad about, was just not able to execute and get those quality shots that they deserve to win that game. There was nothing there.
There wasn't anything there against LSU. We'll see if there's something there against Texas A&M. The Aggies defensively have been stout against this attack from the Horned Frogs that early on, Heckma, looked like they were going to have their way.
Yeah, absolutely. But, again, the ebb and flows of this game, the second half is going to be the same way. What I'm curious about is what adjustments the Aggies make at halftime, because they have had some missed opportunities. Kroslowietz is solid. That's one part that they could just circle and underline that he's taking care of what he needs to. It's on the offensive end, getting their quality shots. There's a lot of missed opportunities here, but also TCU knows that they're going to have to bring up the intensity in this game.
Great crowd on hand as well here from Vista Ridge Middle School. As we talked about it earlier, an in-state rivalry. There's a great look at it. You look at the stands, and then there's a line of people up on the fence as well. Great crowd on hand for this matchup between TCU and Texas A&M. Semifinal action in LSA Invitational 2021. So just a minute left here in the second quarter. TCU trying to take advantage and take the lead. Here's a shot that goes right up and over the crossbar. Not a bad look for Michael Fogarty.
No, that's a great move by Fogarty, and that's what I was talking about before. They've had plenty of opportunities like that, and they have to just keep shooting. One's going to get through.
They've had 6 goals from Fogarty this season. The 2 goal scorers, Mala and Lundy, here in this one for TCU. Slipping on the far side was Ethan Griffin. How about this shot from distance, and it's blocked away by the Texas A&M defense initially, and the whistle gives it back to the Aggies. 31 seconds left.
Yeah, Coach Purcell is not happy about that because he wanted to get that offensive possession executed where they got a better shot.
May get another chance here, though. 20 seconds left. That one picked up on the ground ball, and they're going to say he was out of his zone.
Wow.
Goes back to Texas A&M.
That's a tough call.
That was right on the line. I thought we had a great look at it, and I don't think he necessarily was.
That's a tough call.
By inches. Would have taken away a fast break opportunity for TCU. Instead, Texas A&M trying to make something happen. And again, Grayson Weithman, the freshman from Katy, just continues to play lights-out defense. Shot from distance, no good. And we're all knotted up at 2 goals apiece as we head to the halftime break. It has been a defensive struggle between Texas A&M and TCU here in this semifinal, but also the goalkeepers continuing to stand strong behind their defenses.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You talk about TCU and what Weithman and company have been able to do. It's just staying in those passing lanes, but also there's not enough to be said.
Sidelines. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the start of the third quarter, we'll give you some stats and recap the action of the first half. It's 2-2 here in the LSA semifinal between TCU and Texas A&M on Game On Sports. Back here in Keller, Texas, and Vista Ridge Middle School, just north of Fort Worth. Kyle Yeomans, Heckma Harrison, TCU, and Texas A&M. Semifinal action of the LSA Invitational. We're all knotted up at 2 apiece. And Heckma, we talked about you wearing many hats in that first half. You always will wear those hats. However, I want you to put another hat on. If you're the head coach of Texas A&M, what's the adjustments you make at halftime if you're in the shoes of Tony Scazzero?
Man, I'm telling you, now my hat's just getting bigger.
Was that even possible?
It's not. But, the one thing that you gotta do as a coach is you gotta just accentuate the things that you've done well. And defensively, they've played really well. They've done a good job of jumping those loose balls, getting the ground balls. But offensively, they have got to get into a rhythm. They stole back some of the momentum in this game. Like I said, this is a championship, a heavyweight matchup, and who can withstand those early blows, which they did. Now what they have to do is they got to let these shots fly. They know that Brody Cummins, he's given up some goals that they got to test him. He is a guy that needs to be challenged, and if you don't get any shots on goals, then hey, that's not challenging him much.
No doubt about that, and all tied up at what TCU had in mind heading into the halftime break. They had a 2-0 lead. What are you saying to your squad if you're Mark Purcell?
Mark knows that he has these guys I've seen them play really aggressive and high tempo. This is the point where these guys have got to play with their hair on fire. I mean, they've got to just play with reckless abandon. I'm not saying lose your discipline, but at the same time, bring the level of play up a notch. Right now, they've been a little subdued. They don't want to make any errors. Let's play loose. Let's play like this squad that I've seen them play like time and time again. And guys like Trey Mahler, Will Gambrell, Michael Fogarty and company, these are their guys that run the point, that get this team back on the right track, and this is the time to do it in the second half. 2
goals apiece, 4 different goal scorers. Andrew Beasley had a score in the first from Texas A&M, or he actually had the equalizer in the second period. Sam Smith had a first quarter goal that got the Aggies on the board, as opposed to TCU, who also had a pair of goal scorers. Trey Mala got the Horned Frogs on the board, and then Hayden Lundy, off of Griffin Turner's fantastic pass, was able to one-timer it straight back into the net, and that's where we are. All knotted up at 2 here from Keller. Winner takes on LS. The Tigers await the winner of Texas A&M and TCU. Still plenty to be decided. 15 minutes back up on the board as we head to the second half of this one. Once again, hit that subscribe button. Plenty of lacrosse action coming to you on Game On Sports around the LSA and others. As we go to the face-off X, TCU's been dominant at that spot today. They win the initial push, but can they pick up the ground ball? They can, as Weithman comes in. He has just been a technician with the stick tonight.
Yeah, Weithman does his job and runs off, and Trey Mahler comes in, and on offense, they are at full strength. And so, like I said, it's the level of play. I look for TCU to bring it up a notch.
Let's see if they can get past this Texas A&M defense and Kroslowitz. Kroslowitz with 7 saves in that first half, as he was really impressive, and a lot of those coming in emphatic fashion.
Yeah, a couple of point-blank shots right there, and he's getting the save. So, like we talked about him pregame, and just about where his high school pedigree coming from the Woodlands, and, man, he's kept a lot of it.
Near hash mark. The attack now goes far side to Griffin. Long-distance shot, and it clanks off of the dome of a defender. Comes all the way to the near side, and it sticks with TCU. I believe that ricocheted off of Preston Smith's helmet.
God.
And came all the way to the Texas A&M bench.
Man, you talk about a shot off the dome, and that's a score.
How about the answer from TCU? A fantastic look at net a couple moments ago, but instead they get even closer, and they're able to put themselves back up 3-2 our score.
Yeah, had an opportunity to right there, and I believe that was Will Gambrell. Got to forgive us. The gray jerseys under the Saturday night lights is not being very gracious to us right now, but that was, like you said, coming out of the half, what did they have to do to get this party started, and that's intensify the pace, and they did that.
Yeah, they came out of the gates here in the second half looking to take action. Texas A&M won the face-off. Now Andrew Bonnet again having to be quick on the long stick. Has it knocked away again. Texas A&M does not have numbers, and they'll slow things down after back and forth. That ball pinballed in between the two sides.
Yeah, just some great rear checking by the Horned Frogs, able to knock that ball out.
So now TCU doing exactly what they did in that first half, slowing things down, tapping the brakes a little bit. And then it'll be a full send straight at net.
Yeah, Bacino working the alley. He is a guy that you got to watch.
Yeah, he'll work straight off of that far hash into the alley, and then he's tough to stop when he's at full speed. Thought about it with the goal line extended for Fogarty. Working to the far side of the crease here for TCU. How about that shot, and the laser goes up and over.
Yeah, they're working those angles. I thought Fogarty had a shot from our vantage point, but he didn't take it. Looked like they had numbers, and that's another shot. You could see, again, these Horned Frogs have come out of the half, and they are aggressive.
They were aggressive that time, but maybe a little too aggressive as Fogarty put the shot just up and above the crossbar. Texas A&M able to take advantage as Preston Smith got to the inline first and gets possession here for the Aggies. Bonnet works past midfield. A lot of extra room for Bonnet to work. He can attack. Thought about it, and he turns right back around and dishes that one off.
Oh, come on, Bonnet. He had all the momentum in that long pole. He had to take a shot, man. As hard as he worked, he went from inline to inline.
Man, he had a lot of room. There was some green in between him and Brody Cummins in net. Here's the near sideline.
Cotterer, what a move.
He is so elusive. Right back over to one of the goal scorers already as that one's knocked away. Once again, Weithman right in the vicinity, and he picks it up.
Good job by Weithman, just shielding his guy, allowing him to get in and pick up that ground ball.
Ground ball picked up by Zerpolo.
Woo, that's good teamwork.
Texas A&M not happy. They thought it was a foul. They continue to voice their opinions to the official on the near sideline, and Tony Scazzaro
he's
very adamant about it.
He is giving them a piece of his mind right now.
Huge opportunity for TCU.
Now you look at the way that defense is collapsing in the box. Whoa, that's a
long wind-up. Goes just off into the left of the near post. TCU puts so much pressure on their opponents with plays like this. Mollett right in the middle of the slot. Can't get there. And it'll go back over to the Aggies.
Mollett thought he had Stephen Mason standing in front of the crease, but obviously the communication wasn't there.
Great job by Texas A&M to get the ball back after what was another opportunity for TCU to try and add to their lead. It's one thing that Texas A&M has done very well. If they haven't taken advantage of plays on their side, they've at least stifled the TCU runs.
Yes.
So it very easily could have been more than 2-0 in that first quarter. They then tied it up at 2, and so far it's been very tough for the Horned Frogs to put number 4 up on the scoreboard.
No, defensively, they're doing a great job. I mean, obviously they have one of the best goalies in MCLA, so they rely heavily on him, but they're doing a good job at backing him up and just not allowing any easy shots.
I'd venture to say these are two of the best goalkeepers in MCLA action. Brody Cummins on the TCU side, and then, of course, Kroslowitz for Texas A&M, who we have talked about extensively already. Texas A&M with 20 seconds to work. Fox working in. Yeah. How about this shot off the right shoulder, and it's stood up by Cummins.
Oh, my goodness, man. Cummins had to make sure that he kept himself in position because Fox gave him a lot.
Just the 2 goals allowed for Cummins already in this one. How about the stutter step on transition work from TCU? Quick dish off, and now the Horned Frogs will reset. Bacino with it, working straight away. Switches hands. Mala.
There it is.
That's a nice pickoff.
Yep.
How about that from Jake Johnston? Just read that like a book. Now Bonnet working down the middle of the hash marks, throws on the brakes, and now has to find a way to get rid of that ball.
Just a lazy pass, that's going to drive Mark Purcell crazy seeing that, because he wanted Mahler to set the, be the point guy, and he just set a bad pass.
Carterer right in the middle for Smith, and he couldn't handle the pass. Oh, that was a chance that Texas A&M is going to look at later on and say that could have been goal number 3.
Goodness gracious, Smith right in front of the cage and not able to get that ball on his head.
No, it was set up perfectly. Cordova fed it right into the middle of the slot, and then right outside the crease was Smith waiting and just could not get the net on it. And there's a little frustration from the Texas A&M bench as they knew that was an opportunity. 8 minutes, 15 seconds left here in the third quarter. Still just a 1-goal advantage for TCU. Great defense, double team there from Texas A&M, making things tough. Miller thought about the drive to the goal line extended. Instead, dips it back to Gambrell.
Yeah, they're being patient again. They're in their open set. Well, now they go back to a 1-3-2. Just trying to deny getting back topside. Just A&M playing some great defense right now.
Gambrell, the laser sidearm sling, resets the shot clock for TCU, but not a chance to get it on goal.
Bring it in from the end line, and that's a shot behind the net.
7:30 left here in the third quarter. Kroslowitz all the way to midfield.
Kroslowitz takes more gambles than a lot of goalies that I've seen. I mean, he comes all the way out of the crease.
He's always been that way. Weifman, no gamble there. He was calculated in that attack. Is able to force the turnover. TCU regains possession. Griffin Turner to the top of the formation. Checking back in is Gambrell. Guarded closely by Mendoza. Mendoza out to the perimeter. Gambrell sees that, and he goes to the goal line extended back underneath. Here we go. Crease attack again. Over the middle. Has a wide open man, and he stood up by Kroslowitz.
Golly. I mean, this guy is unreal. His ability to make sure that he gives no room for a shot to go through the cage.
It was the senior out of California, Spencer Vieira, who was streaking in from the far side, was able to reel in the pass and then put it right into the left thigh of Kroslowitz. Would have been his 3rd goal of the season. But again, the redshirt freshman out of the Woodlands continues to impress in between the pipes as we're just past the halfway mark here in this third quarter.
And I can assure you, Spencer Vieira's eyes were probably big as saucers because he knew he had a goal, and Kroslowitz said, deny.
Mendoza loses it. TCU forces another turnover. Now on a run. Trying to get past DeRosa. DeRosa able to cut off the transition play from TCU and force the Horned Frogs to reset. Great hustle that time from the Aggies. We've seen that already defensively from both sides. Neither side has made things easy on the attack, especially in the transition game.
I mean, Griffin Turner got down the field. I mean, that was pretty fast. I'm like, this guy needs to go to the football team, the kickoff.
Yeah, it looked like a gunner on a punt return as this one's picked off by Turner. Numbers for TCU. Chance near side. And a sigh of relief for Texas A&M. A sigh of frustration for TCU is once again A&M able to get back in time to stifle the TCU run before it really gets started. How about this chance? Near side, top shelf. And that one is in.
Oh, man, Fogarty, he gets down that alley and gets it right up top shelf. Man, Kroslowitz, that is one that he is going to regret, man, because it's just whizzed right past his ear.
It looked like he had a great bead on that ball.
Did.
Out of the net of Fogarty. 3rd goal scorer fourth goal scorer for TCU. And it's 4-2 in favor of the Horned Frogs. They led 2-0. Texas A&M answered. So is there an answer again here from the Aggies? And a face-off win by Portela initially, but TCU quickly onto the ground ball, pushing and shoving, keeps it with the Horned Frogs.
Get him on the push and get the ball back to the Horned Frogs. But again, Fogarty working the alley, man, just very aggressive. That's a great shot. Back at it again.
Near side, yeah, just trying to keep that same momentum, keep that potential. Here from the backside goes TCU again. Miller berated by Smith. Now on the goal line extended. Smith making things tough. Miller with a shot goes just over the crossbar.
Yeah, you hear Coach Purcell giving off those orders, and he yells out Epsilon. He wants him to run it from the E, and he got everything alphabetically from those open sets. So look for him to get it back to Bacino here on the near side.
Oh, they thought about getting it to Miller, who was going in. There to clean things up is Pacino. Miller was the one that was streaking. Good call there, Heckman. You knew they were going to attack that back door. Just couldn't connect on the pass. 4:08 left in the quarter. 15 left on the shot clock until that one resets. 14 seconds.
That didn't reset.
It did not reset. No shot on goal. So here goes Pacino with under 10 to roll. Goes this time and sends it off of the shin of the Texas A&M defender. And just a last-second heave. And maybe a little pushing and shoving after.
We are getting chippy here.
I love the energy from both sidelines. You can really hear the passion between the two. Under 4 to play. Can Texas A&M cut into this lead? They did so at the end of the first quarter going into the second. They would have to try and do so again to make it 4-3. Cotterer thought about giving it to Smith. Instead, it's Fox. Here's Smith, who can work quickly from behind, but he is met immediately by that TCU defense.
Not leaving any room for error. You could tell, and they are communicating down there and looking for where Cotterer is, where he's on the backside.
Smith, Cotterer sends it whizzing past the right post. Good heads-up play from Karthik Rajagopal to go to the end line and keep it with Texas A&M. A couple extra whistles from the near sideline. Not exactly sure what that was, but it sticks with the Aggies. 3 minutes, 22 seconds left here in the third. 4-2 our score. Once again, a winner of this one will take on LSU. And the Red Hot Tigers tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central Time here from Keller, Texas. That TCU team back at the LSU team back at the hotel watching this one, scouting. Happy with their win, but their job not done yet, as they will look to take on the winner of this one.
Yeah, and just talk about how well rested that team is in only one half of action.
Sure.
Now these guys are going to be, they're going to need some ice baths after this one.
You said it earlier, it's a heavyweight fight. It's been so far. How about this long shot off the mark, and the stick?
Oh, wow.
Just in favor of Texas A&M.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought Waldron got there in time.
I did, too.
Wow. 15 seconds to work. Back to Smith. He may have to go for a goal here.
Yeah, they're meeting him, not allowing him top side.
That one popped away, back toward midfield, and once again, whistles put a pause in action, and they're going to reset the shot clock so it sticks with Texas A&M. Another break for the Aggies.
That is definitely a break.
Can they take advantage, though? That's the biggest question.
But I tell you, TCU is playing some hellacious defense.
Cotterer, he has had zero space to work. How about this long windup? That shot off the turf from Eli Englehart. No chance for Cummins to get a net on it.
That was a good shot by Englehart.
I love that opportunity. Give it to him again. Englehart from straight away. They just haven't been able to put it on net yet. Here's Fox. A little extra room to work, but not for long before that one's shut off.
Yeah, you got to watch Fox.
Slinging that time from the left-handed side.
Yeah, he does such a great job of just getting topside, and he pivots, take that power step, and come back.
2 minutes left in the quarter. Here he goes again. Yeah. Nice move. Got some separation. Can he take advantage? And it goes just out of reach of the goal line. Wow. I thought it might have even poked its way in there, but instead it's picked up by Cotterer.
I did too.
Looks back to his defender. Goal line extended here for Smith. Danger not done for TCU. Fox on the windup. Doesn't end up pulling the trigger in with a reset shot clock. Texas A&M slows it down again. A stumble, a shot, a save.
And that's another one that ricochets off the pipes and gives A&M another opportunity. Boy, they have been peppering Brody Cummins in this into this third period.
Another fresh set of seconds, 80 seconds back up on the shot clock, and actually the shot clock should be off. How about this? Underneath, sweeping it toward goal is Fox, and Cummins able to put the clamp down. Dodges an attacker. Now Cummins. How about this? All the way to midfield and past. He loses it in transition, and this is huge for TCU to pick it back up. Cummins lost his goalie net. And an inadvertent whistle called on the official near side. That is a huge break for TCU. Coach Scazzaro is beside himself because the goalkeeper from the Horned Frogs and Brody Cummins was 40 yards away from net.
That is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he bent his stick. I don't know what the rules are there, but it appears to me that should be possession A&M.
It will be possession A&M, but I think the bigger question is the fact that an inadvertent whistle happened on the near sideline.
Yes.
While the goalkeeper was 40 yards away from his position, so now he can automatically end up in between the pipes. Ultra frustrating for Texas A&M on the whistle. Probably the worst time you could have an inadvertent whistle if you're Texas A&M. Here's an attack, though, trying to take advantage. Long windup, and the shot goes wide. Picked up by Sam Smith. 30 seconds remaining in what has been a wild final couple minutes of the third quarter.
Wild, yes. That's the word.
Texas A&M trailing by 2. Calling for it near side is Beasley. Didn't see him. Instead, it's to Fox. 10 seconds left. Cotterer tries to work toward the crease. He gets slapped with the stick, and with 3 seconds left, right in the middle, knocked away by Weithman again. And it's a 2-0 quarter for TCU as the Horned Frogs blank the Aggies in the third period and have a 2-goal lead heading into the final frame.
Matt, we talked about the intensity level for TCU needing to come up a notch. I think they moved that 5 notches up, just what they've been doing defensively. I mean, Brody Cummins right now, he is doing a phenomenal job. And Weithman, we've talked about his ability just to get in those passing lanes and get those turnovers. But, man, just that inadvertent whistle right there.
That was huge.
That was huge, man. Can't say enough about that because at that moment, Brody Cummins, again, 40 yards away from his stick and, gosh, another 40 yards away from the cage. They were out of position. If it were not for that whistle, that very well may have been a score for the Aggies.
Well, not only was it the inadvertent whistle that stopped the play, but Texas A&M had the advantage.
Yes.
I mean, the ball was on the turf, and TCU was on their heels trying to just get back into position. And Texas A&M was really robbed of an opportunity there to at least get back into the attacking zone and make something happen. And TCU, of course, taking advantage of the whistle and being back defensively.
Yeah.
And able to stop the final attack from Texas A&M.
Yeah, we had a few calls right there in the third period where TCU or the A&M were able to get extra possessions. And, you know, in sports, you know, you believe in makeup calls and all of that. But I tell you, if that was a makeup call, that's a big one.
Under the night sky here in Keller, Texas. Oh, pretty little shot of the moon here from Vista Ridge Middle School. I'm Kyle Yeomans alongside Heckma Harrison for Game On Sports. It's the second leg of our doubleheader. Guess what? We've got more lacrosse coming tomorrow. 3 o'clock, the opening face-off between LSU and the winner of this semifinal. And what should be a fun final quarter. If the first 3 quarters were any indication, Heckma Harrison, we're in for a dandy. 2 teams that really do not like each other and really would enjoy a shot at LSU. Coach Purcell even saying prior to the weekend, saying they wanted that matchup again.
Yeah. Hey, 2 words, buckle up.
Yeah, if you haven't been strapped in, you might as well get ready. You already see that with the pinball back and forth in between the 35-yard lines. It's picked up by Weifman. Now back onto the carpet it goes, trying to find some sort of stability. Both sides fighting for the loose ball, and it's picked up finally by Josh Fox. Fox taking a lick from Weifman as well, following the ground ball. Beasley, who has a goal. Sends Smith in motion. Stutter step, near side, backhand. That's how he scored his goal earlier.
Yeah. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He went right back to the roller, and Beasley's been lurking and sitting now on that backside. They just hadn't been able to find him yet.
That was almost a carbon copy of how his goal went in earlier, just this time wasn't on net. DeRosa, one guy who has not got any sort of space or any kind of momentum going is William Cotterer. Raving reviews for the Kingwood product, the freshman who had 5 goals and an assist in his 2 games this year. And he has really had 0 room to work as this one's shade off the stick, picked up by Beasley.
Yep, that's what I said. Beasley's just sitting back there.
Not just sitting anymore, makes a nice run, and it's knocked away by TCU. Horned Frogs on the return. Mishandled pass, picked up by TCU, and Mason. He's met quickly by Braden Montgomery, the ESD product.
Boy, it's getting chippy out here, man.
Man, there's lots of pushing and shoving.
There they are,
The
man.
physicality is certainly there. The talking is there. The back and forth. This has been a fun matchup. How about this shot?
Gambrell.
And it's in. Will Gambrell with his 6th goal of the year, 2nd of the matchup. And it's 5-2 TCU.
Golly, and you know what, Gambrell's working behind the X. He gets back top side of the crease. He's got 2 guys on him, and he still takes that shot in between them and gets a goal. That's just great work by Will Gambrell.
You talk about lurking with Andrew Beasley on the Texas A&M side. I feel the same way about Will Gambrell. Hasn't necessarily been a part of the action with the movement and the setup and the patience.
Yeah.
Instead, he comes in and just takes advantage when he gets the ball in his stick.
Yeah, he did. He took advantage of that opportunity for sure. He put the whole team on his back because he had 3 guys in front of him and get that score. That's quality.
Largest lead of the night for TCU. Texas A&M has not held a lead in this matchup so far. They had a man advantage tied up at 2 and possession in the second quarter. Were unable to go up by 1. Here's Eli Engelhardt and a misplaced pass off of the stick of Braden Montgomery. Huge turnover for Texas A&M.
Yes, it was.
All the momentum in favor of TCU. Horned Frogs on the attack, and that one goes high, looking for Miller back behind the net.
Yeah, he had the right intentions, but I tell you, Zach Zapola should have took that shot.
If he would have pulled it down, may have put some extra pressure on Kroslowitz to make a save. Sloppy passing back and forth to start the fourth quarter between both sides. Just has not been clean.
Now defensively, TCU just has to keep the same pace that they've been playing with. Keep that communication. You see them out to perimeter.
Potterer tried to feed it back to Beasley. Beasley pushed off the ball.
Great ground ball.
I believe it was Jack Huey, the defensive midi.
Yeah, Josh Fox was able to get it back, knocking it off the head of a defender.
Still has possession. Smith calling for it on the goal line extended, doesn't get it. Instead, Fox now gives it to Smith, who will reset with DeRosa up top in between the hash marks, working to the far side. Here goes Fox working in on Huey. Fox backhand again. That is his go-to, and he misses it again.
I think he likes that shot. He believes in it.
Well, it worked once. Why not go back to it? You said it a moment ago. If it isn't broke, don't go and fix it. Sam Smith has not had any penetration since his initial goal either. How about now? Point-blank shot goes high.
Oh, man, he's going to be ticked at himself for that.
Smith had a gorgeous look at goal. Rajagopal there on the end line to pick it right back up. 10:51 left. Texas A&M needs a goal quickly.
Yes.
3 goals against this TCU defense is tough to come by. Got to give yourself as much time as possible. Fox off the ground and into the back of the net. Just snuck that one inside the near post, and just what the doctor ordered for the Aggies.
Hey, that's my go-to line on those bouncers is using the earth to get your goal, and he did exactly that. They had to get Brody Cummins out of position because, look, he's just giving them some very difficult angles, and you could tell Brody Cummins, he's bent over there. He's disappointed because up until this point he's just done a phenomenal job. But, look, still with a 2-point advantage with 10 minutes and 39 seconds left in the fourth period. Look, TCU is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, still plenty of time, though. 10:40 left. And an easy win at the face-off X. Can TCU answer immediately in this one, using the earth a little too much to hop right back up and over?
Yeah.
Went about 10 feet up over the crossbar.
That's all earth.
That was all, yeah, you're exactly right. A little extra velocity on that one, sending the turf beads flying about the height of Kroslowitz. He's about 6 foot tall. Great look, though, after the face-off win from TCU. The Horned Frogs keeping their foot on the gas as they should. That's really where they've had the majority of their success tonight.
No, can't let up. They cannot let up.
Long run. Mala thought about the wind-up in the shot. Instead pulled back. Gambrell again looking for the hat trick. Winds up, shoots, passes it back behind. Back to Mala. He has to sweep it to a teammate. Here's Griffin.
Oh, that's right between. Man, that's a dangerous pass.
Hayden Lundy was on the streak. Miller.
Trying to get back top side and just can't.
A little extra curricular following the turnover. Preston Smith was fantastic on that defensive possession for the Aggies, and now it's put back onto the turf, and it's picked up by the 12th man, Mr. Austin Gideon. Of course, that number 12, a sacred number in College Station, and he sported it well there. Now Texas A&M with some numbers. Can they get an attack together? It looks like Rajagopal will just reset it on the end line. It looked like there might have been a chance in some space to work with.
Absolutely. They had an opportunity. They had numbers, but then they allowed TCU to gather themselves and reset their defense.
That is a huge break. TCU back defensively. Fox, 2 goals already to his total. Can he do it again off the crease line?
They're trying to find this backdoor cutter right here.
There he is. Long wind up and a nice, easy save for Cummins. That one went straight to the stick of Riley Cowden, who has just the one ground ball in 2 games this year. Tried to find his first goal and couldn't sneak it past the senior from Cherry Creek, Colorado.
Yeah, Machino on the clear. Again, he's a guy you got to watch, man, because he is quick on those puppies.
Yeah, he has that stutter step.
Yes.
That can throw a defender off kilter just enough to create some separation, and the Horned Frogs want to talk it over. 8:01 left in this one, and it's still just a 2-goal game. TCU jumping out through a 3-goal lead with 3 unanswered to start the second half. And Texas A&M with the most recent score as Josh Fox found the back of the net. And really Fox keeping this within reach for Texas A&M, but still a lot of work to do.
Oh, yeah. We talked about the ebb and flows of this match. Both of these teams putting out high output on offense, and you knew that defensively both of these squads would be tested. The one thing that they had to rely on is their goalkeepers, and both of these guys have done a phenomenal job. But for A&M, it's just been the pressure that TCU has been putting on them. We talked about what they had to do, coming out, bringing the intensity up a notch. They've done that, but I think it's just been defensively where it's been a difference maker. They just hadn't allowed some of their top offensive guys, meaning A&M, to get those easy and open shots.
So TCU will have possession. 57 seconds on the shot clock, 8:01 on the game clock. So the ability to eat off another minute here for TCU. Each possession that the Horned Frogs have just continues to make things tougher on the Aggies.
Yes.
Puts a little added pressure on Kroslowitz to not only make the save, but to net any shot that comes his direction and try and force the turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Things are tough on the Aggies right now, and TCU looking to turn up the heat a little bit here in the final half of the final quarter. Under the lights in Keller, Texas, LSA semifinal action. Dodge far side. Right in the middle and had a man. A turnover from TCU as Stephen Mason once again just couldn't get it on a stick. He's had a rough outing on the attacking side.
Yeah, he has. He's had a couple to go over his head. He, didn't secure one, a pass, and then a turnover like that. I mean, right now for A&M, it's not that the clock isn't your friend. They just can't afford to be as patient as they've been on the offensive end.
And see if they go a little more pedal to the metal here on this attack down the field. Smith. Trying to find separation, finds a teammate far side. It's Engelhard, goes underneath with the shot, and he sends it past the near post.
Yeah, Zach Cipolla is doing a really good job defending the GLE, and that's where the difference has been made. Just not giving them those easy outlet passes or catching a guy cutting the back door. It's just not letting it get off like that.
Here's Smith again, has some separation. Can he finish? He cannot as Cummins makes the save.
Man, Brody's doing a good job. Brody is doing a good job. He's had some shots right in his face, and just a great defense, great save by Brody Cummins.
A violation for Texas A&M. Keep it with TCU despite the berating defense in transition. Did you just call an inadvertent whistle again?
Oh my God, that would.
That's exactly what has been called. It kicks with TCU. Trying to hear an explanation from the officials, but it will be TCU ball in their half of the field.
That's the second inadvertent whistle.
Wow.
Wow.
Saw that in the third quarter. That paid dividends for TCU. It's the second time it's gone the way of the Horned Frogs. Texas A&M benefited from a couple controversial calls in the first half. The second half, it is reversed kilter.
We see Will Gambrell make that move behind X, just dragging the A&M defense with him.
Closing in on the 6-minute mark. There's Gambrell. Working on Gideon. Turner lurking. There he is, right in between the hash marks. Yep. He winds up for a run. Working on Cotterer, but in no hurry, as you can tell. 25 seconds and counting on the shot clock. TCU killing clock, getting a great opportunity and a goal from the far side.
What
TCU with a huge goal with 5:37 remaining.
God almighty, what a shot. Man, from the far side. And that was the great execution by the Frogs offense. Great execution.
And just when Texas A&M seemingly had a little bit of possession and a little bit of momentum, TCU again answers the call and doubles up their lead back to 6-3.
I believe that was Gambrell, and man, what a laser.
If it was Gambrell, it's tough to tell once again with these jerseys and the night lights. But if it was Gambrell, it would be his third goal of the night. He has been fantastic. Came in with just 4 goals on the year. He's had 3 tonight.
That was a shot.
And now the intensity ramps up again for Texas A&M. Behind the back shot is saved by Cummins. Englehart trying to get cheeky with it and was stood up by the senior.
Way to go, Brody. Brody is back.
How about this run for TCU? But you're right. After having an off outing against LSU, Brody Cummins has been standing on his head in between the pipes, just doing everything for his ball club to get a win.
Yeah, he was, that shot, the guy goes to a different side. He pivots, gets him out of position, and goes behind his back, but Brody was not fooled by it, and just a great save by the senior goalie.
There's Mala. Back up to Griffin. Once again, TCU in no hurry. More time off the clock. Shot, point blank range. That one hit off a flesh somewhere right in the middle of the crease.
Yeah, that's
not sure if it got to Krosowitz or if it was hit beforehand.
No, it got him. It hit him right in the leg. So
that'll be a bruise tomorrow, but one that'll be worth it.
Yeah, I'd be limping like crazy. He doesn't seem to be affected by it. So
sure, it's not the first time.
Positive, it's not the first time.
And it's unfortunate for Krosowitz just how good of a game he has had, because really he has had a great game, and it's really a shame either one of these goalkeepers has to go home unhappy. We've seen a great matchup in between the two. Here goes Fox. And instead of spinning his way to some open field, instead there's a misplay all the way back to midfield. Turned over to the TCU Horned Frogs. On the run, TCU looking for the dagger, and it's a Krosowitz save.
Hey, Krosowitz said, hey, you got me down, but I'm not that down. I can still do my job. I'm not going to let you guys get anything that easy.
Keeps the Aggies at least within striking distance, but once again, time running out. Flag flies in, advantage Texas A&M. TCU will be a man down.
Looks like they're going to get a slashing penalty.
This one poked away, not yet. Fox still fighting for it. Another flag flies. And it's finally picked up by the Horned Frogs, and multiple flags here on this possession. Good sign for Texas A&M with just under 3 to play, 2:55 to be exact. And the Aggies are going to have an opportunity here to try and cut into the lead.
Yeah, now down 2. Definitely will have the advantage.
Looks like it's Miller that will head to the penalty box. Having a conversation with Mala is the near side official. Yeah, it's going to be Mala. So offside's called on Andrew Miller, whereas Trey Mala will be down, and 2 men down for TCU as Texas A&M will look to attack. And they've got to do so quickly here. Can't waste any time, especially with 2 men down.
See, they're going to pull their guys back. They're going to play everything within the box because they're down 2. But A&M definitely should be able to take advantage of the numbers.
This is where Coach Purcell really will show that he has the best defense in the MCLA. Fox thought about it. Cotterer. Beasley feeds it far side, knocked away initially. Engelhardt, and it's picked up by Brody Cummins.
Brody Cummins is having himself a hell of a game.
Gosh, he is so active. Oh, this TCU defense stands strong, 2 men down, still 1 man down, but Andrew Miller pops back into the equation. Cotterer, 2:15 left. That one kicked back to his teammate. How about that play?
Whatever you got to use.
Beasley, wind up, shot ricocheted off wide, picked up by shot, goes over the crossbar.
That's a great shot by Beasley. It's a little high.
2 minutes exactly on the clock, back to even strength for both sides. Fox, plenty of room, just misses that one. Tried to go top shelf again.
Yeah, he did. And he had a great look and had Brody Cummins out of position. Just came off of his head a little too high.
That might have been the best look they've had all night. He just missed it. Here he goes again. Ricochet put onto the carpet. Picked up by Cotterer. He dishes it again to Engelhardt, and that TCU defense, my goodness. Oh, they have been so good tonight. And it's scooped up off the turf, battering back and forth, and finally a penalty called, foul called, no penalty. And Texas A&M will keep possession, 1:23 left, and it's starting to look like TCU, LSU in the final. Texas A&M needs a miracle here in the final 90 seconds. Fox trying to do everything he can, sends it high. 1:09 left.
Yeah, this rematch tomorrow is going to be epic. Get here early. That's all I got to say. Get here early.
If you're in Baton Rouge watching this one, make the drive. It's worth it.
What up, D? Oh, yeah!
Back up top. That laser shot out of the stick of Cordova goes left. 52 ticks remaining. Fox lining things up, trying to stay outside the crease. Does just that, backhands that one in.
Oh, wait a minute. What a shot.
That was fancy.
Yes, sir, it was.
44 seconds left. And Fox has his second of the night, and that one the more impressive of the two. However, Texas A&M needs a huge face-off win here to at least keep themselves alive. If they get a quick goal here, and by quick, I mean within the next 15 seconds, they have a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There is definitely a chance, and that's why Tony Scazzero will call a timeout and have a chat. You have to win the face-off. That's the game. If TCU wins the face-off, this one's over. If you win the face-off, then you got to score quick. You got to score within 15 seconds, maybe 20 if you want to be a little liberal with it. Get to 20 seconds. You make it a one-goal game, and then you have to win the face-off again. And just score before the time runs out at that point. You would at least get a couple shots off if you can score within 20 seconds. You would at least have a couple opportunities, you would think, to get that equalizer.
Get some overtime lacrosse going there.
Try and exactly force it into OT, which, as good as this game has been, would it really surprise you if Texas A&M made something happen?
Nope.
I think I'm right there with you, my friend.
Nope.
I think I'm right there with you.
Nope. I mean, and the thing about it is, Kyle, they've had their opportunities. They've had opportunities. It's been Brody Cummins and the TCU defense. The TCU defense, they have clamped down, and it doesn't matter if they come out and they guard you on the perimeter or they get back in the box. They are supporting each other in layers, the back half, front half, all of them. They've just done a fantastic job. Middies, long poles, attackmen, all of these guys. The Frogs have been on their game today.
Yeah, they really have. And whenever the defense breaks down, Cummins has usually backed them up in a big way. And even with the shots Texas A&M has put on goal, it still hasn't been enough to really challenge the TCU defense. But here we go to the face-off X.
Cummins just comes away with it. Nope.
Not so fast. Called a slash. And so it'll be Texas A&M's penalty. Man up for TCU. With 39 seconds left, they have a chance to run out the clock. Just trying to look and see which foul or which team the foul was called on. But it is on the Aggies as they send Andrew Bonnet to the penalty box, just trying to make something happen off of the faceoff.
Yeah, they knew it, and obviously not able to get that faceoff cost them in time as well. 5 seconds has ran off. And like you said, TCU in a position right now just to run the clock out.
Lundy with it. Gonna just put on the Jets, and it's knocked away. Texas A&M forces a turnover. A man down, going the other direction. Final opportunities to try and make this a one-goal game. Right in front. Wind up. Shot. Just sent wide. Oh, goodness. Braden Montgomery had a chance. 16 seconds left. Now here's Fox. Going to have to make something quick. Works to the far side, tries to find his teammate in the middle. It's put on the ground. TCU picks up the loose ball. And with 5 seconds left, the clock will run down. There's going to be a lot of purple in Keller tomorrow night. TCU moves on to the final.
Wow, what a gutsy win by TCU, and their ability to just turn up the intensity in that second half was the difference in this game. Man, they stole that momentum, and even though A&M tried to withstand it, it was just too much. They kept coming at these guys in waves.
The defense, the goaltending, and the consistency of the Horned Frogs just enough to hold off a late charge from Texas A&M in what was a tight battle. Neither team really had a great feel of it. Texas A&M never had a lead, but they were also never out of it.
No, not at all. And you know when you have a goalie like Crossowitz, he's going to give you opportunity after opportunity, and he did that. It's just that, look, defensively, sometimes you can be outflanked, you can be outmanned, and TCU just turned up the intensity, and the communication that they had just did not allow for any easy shots, any easy passes. We talked about Wheatman in the first half, the job that he did. They just continued that all the way to the second half.
Brody Cummins gets the win. TCU improves to 6-1, and according to Coach Purcell, a win away from trying to secure a spot in the MCLA qualifier down in Central Texas. Texas A&M, their first loss of the season, and they really wanted to try and get a couple more games in, so their season not over yet, says Coach Tony Scazzero. But a disappointing loss for Texas A&M as it's back to the drawing board. But TCU, just the better team today, as they will shake hands as the victors. And like I said, lots of purple in Keller tomorrow. 3 o'clock, our opening face-off between TCU and LSU. You can join us right here on Game On Sports. Go ahead and subscribe and turn on those notifications, and you'll know exactly when we go live with more Lone Star Alliance Lacrosse. But that'll do it for us tonight here from Vista Ridge Middle School. For Fred Garner, for Ori, for Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Once again, giving you the final score. TCU wins it. They'll take on LSU in the final tomorrow, 6-4, our final score. So long from Keller, Texas.